Hello. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another Tactical Tuesday.
Welcome to Tactical Tuesday, guys.
We have helicopters and planes coming in and landing behind us occasionally, so we'll have the odd, noisy interruption.
We've been here for a couple days, and we have not had this many happen. It must be like rush hour.
It's all good.
Is it rush hour to Vancouver? Anyways, hey guys, welcome.
So say hi as you come on and let us know where you're from. That would be awesome. We see a bunch of comments coming through already, so that's really good. So welcome. We have an interesting topic today, and we have an awesome guest that will be joining us too. So
one of my favorite guests, and someone that, hey Shelley, someone that pushes to help you guys. She's not naturally wanting to be on camera and all that kind of stuff, but she does it because she's just willing to help any and everyone. She's amazing. So, yeah. So we're looking forward to talking to her today. That's Deb Kennedy. She's from Mountain Edge Properties, and she'll be joining us in a little bit here. We're just going to wait a few minutes, get everybody on, hailing in all the way from Halifax. Now that we've done this leg of our trip and we're all the way out, to the West Coast, I cannot wait to head out east too. It's been such a fun trip. So for those of you that have joined us over the last few days, both in our Ignited dinner that we had, and
dinners.
Dinners. That's right. We've done 2 dinners, and then we've done one meetup in the park, and it's just been a ton of fun. So great to meet you all. And hey guys. So if StreamYard asks you, as you can see, we're starting to use a new format. So if StreamYard asks you if you want to give them permission to use your name, it's so that when you comment, we can actually see who is commenting, because right now sometimes it comes up just as Facebook user. So if you're able to,
if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, it should be just a quick yes that you're going to give your permission to StreamYard. Then your name shows up, and right now we see quite a few names, but we see quite a few Facebook users as well, so we don't really know who's commenting. But
so I'm going to bring it up on my phone so that we can find it.
Hi Joan. Yes, I hear it's warming up in Alberta. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Kathy, it was great to see you too. That was awesome.
Kathy's like a groupie with us now. She travels with us. It's great.
It is plane. Can you see it? Look at this.
Oh, cool.
It is plane landing rush hour right now.
It's so weird.
Over top of us.
Like, we've been here for 2 days and it has not been this busy. And now all of a sudden we go to do a live and it's crazy busy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All good.
All right, guys. So we've got, like we said, Deb Kennedy. She's
one of our Ignited members.
Yeah, she's one of our Ignited members. She's just this wealth of information that's willing to share and share and share and share. So we're going to jump in with her in a couple minutes, but a couple of things we're just going to cover beforehand. So for any fearless in the crowd that are in Calgary, Edmonton, or even maybe Kelowna, we may have to be delaying some of our meetups and our dinners, just because with COVID coming back with such resurgence, we don't want to be adding to any problems. And so we might have to take other trips out to see everybody. Of course, in Edmonton, we live there, but still we don't want to be adding to problems, even outside, even meeting outside and that sort of thing. So we'll just wait and see what the local authorities are all saying, and we're just going to follow that. So unfortunately, we may have to delay. So just kind of have a heads up on that for those of you that were, hanging out and looking forward to some get-togethers here. We'll see what happens. So, hey, Sean, nice to see you. So nice to meet you and Janice. It was awesome. So guys, we, we've got this environment coming up. We've got this situation we know is going to start turning here. We're even seeing it. Liana Nisanova, we had dinner with her last night, and here she was, getting leads after leads just as we're sitting there for these off-market deals from some marketing that she's had out for a while. That the deals weren't out there before. The leads weren't coming in as much. It was a few here and there. Yesterday she was getting lots of them. So why are we seeing that? We're starting to see that people are sick of the market. People are sick of the uncertainty. People's CERB has ended for most people, and unemployment has ended for a lot of people, and there's all kinds of things that are coming to a head that are creating an environment that we're going to really start to see people that are in situations where they need to sell. And so today's topic is all about finding those people. What kind of situations are they normally in that we need to, be aware of so that we know how to market to them? Like Deb, this is Deb's tips, and I'm stealing from her. So, where to find these people, what to say in our marketing, how to then talk to them, what are some of the situations that come about. And the whole point is that we need to be ready for what's coming. And what's coming is a surge of people that are going to need out of their places without using a realtor, saving as much money and putting as much money in their pocket as possible, and not, being stuck with houses that are either underwater, keeping them drowning, going to ruin their credit. Because often what happens is their only choice will be either lose their credit, ruin their credit, and walk away and go into foreclosure from a home that's underwater, upside down, whatever, or sell to someone that knows what they're doing, an
Can
investor.
Be a little creative, come up with a strategy that's a win-win. And yeah, absolutely. Those are the things that in the market that we're coming into now and the market that we're currently in, but I think it's going to progress in this direction. We're going to be able to be more creative. Markets across the country for several years have been significantly hot, and that makes it more difficult to be creative because sellers don't need to be creative. They can just put it on the market and sell it. But in markets where, there's a little bit of worry, there's a little bit of angst, a little bit of stress, it's not a full seller's market, that's where you start to see some of these creative strategies start to appear. For somebody to sell, they're going to have to start doing different things other than just throw it on and have 15 offers and it's selling over asking price. So things change. That's what markets do. This is totally normal. But what's happening in the world and in Canada right now is a little different than normal, something that maybe we haven't really seen or dealt with yet. But what does that do? That presents us with an opportunity to create these win-win situations. It presents us with an opportunity to help others that are going to need it. And in the meantime, while we're doing that, we'll be able to benefit as well. So that's really what we wanted to talk about and focus on. And Deb is a great person that is currently active in these creative strategies.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk to Deb. Let's see if we can break. No, not yet, eh?
No, we got to wait. So there's a little bit of a connection problem there, I think. Yeah. We're just waiting for Deb to clear that up, and then we can bring her on and we can get going with finding out a little bit of insight from her point of view.
Is that a Zoom background? Nicole says. No, that's like real background. We're actually here. And you know what? It's a little bit chilly, but not really. So it's kind of.
We got a little heater underneath us. Oh, and I forgot to turn on the fire. Maybe I should just do that.
Noticed that too, yeah.
Our propane got used up at.
So who is in a position where that there's in your market going to be, or in a market that you're going to have access to or can have access to, because of course we can have access across the country. Who is in a market that is, primed and ready, something that you want to be buying into, but, it's hard to find places. It's hard to find properties. Oops. Properties are going before you can get to them. Throw it in the comments for us. Who is in that kind of market? Because this training today is for you. And this training is all about how to get to those deals before they hit the market, how to find these people before they're, talking to realtors. And we love our realtors, and don't get us wrong. We used realtors. The majority of people say, where did you buy all your deals from? We got all of our deals from realtors for the majority of them. We did try talking to vendors, motivated vendors. We did get some deals from that, but you know what? The systems that we were able to make were through realtors. But when people are upside down in properties, they need help. So we're in that market. Yes, we are there. Yes, multiple offers over asking. So this training is for you too. People think it's just for down markets where, you know, people are in real trouble, but you'll start to see that in those markets even, things turn. They change, and what you need to start doing is getting those off-market deals before they hit the market so that you don't have to have this. Is it harder in those markets? Yeah, absolutely. It's harder for sure. But it's definitely, if you start creating that in your market, you're going to start having that edge on other investors. So let's see if we can bring Deb in. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, let's see. There we go.
Deb, welcome. We can see you. Hello. Yes, we can see you. You're nice and clear, and you're even the voice, the sound is crystal clear too. So
you can hear me okay?
We can hear you okay.
Okay.
You know what? Thank goodness for kids.
Yes.
Good man, buddy. Good man.
Yeah, good job.
Nice work.
I don't think he can hear you because just the headphones, but
all right.
All right.
Yeah. So, and I see you took a new venue too. Well, whatever works, right?
Okay.
All right. So after all that, poor Deb's heart is probably pounding, but hey, listen, is what it is. If you didn't make it, it would be all okay. But let's get to this. Let's talk. So Deb, you specialize in dealing with motivated vendors, in finding motivated vendors. Yes?
I do, yes. That's been my thing for a couple of years now.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you've got some systems in place that actually bring these vendors to you, that you know, they start to talk. So we wanted to ask you, pick your brain. We've done this before and you're awesome at sharing all your goods. So you ready to get picked?
I'm ready to roll.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So what kinds of situations are you seeing, and do you often see where, you know, there's these motivated vendors on a regular basis, something that we can systemize and kind of go, oh, there's that situation, there's probably going to be something there for us. So what kind of situations do you often see?
A really big one is mortgage deferrals finishing,
right,
or prepayment penalties.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Prepayment penalty. So let's talk about what that is, just to give some clarity to that.
So last year, if they signed a renewal, so they might have signed a 4 or 5, whatever year renewal, they might have thought they were getting a great deal. But now it's 2020, things have totally changed. They might have renewed at, let's say, 4%, and now interest rates are really low. And so when they go to break that mortgage, it can easily cost them $10,000 to $20,000.
Yeah. So you guys hear that, right? For one, we want to look and think about what are we doing with our mortgages, right? What are we doing? Because if we needed to get out of them, what kind of stuff are we signing right now with mortgage rates having gone so low? You know, that's made a totally different environment. But for two, even in those hot markets, there are people that will have done these things, like Deb said, signed these mortgages. Now the mortgages, for whatever reason, they need out, and they need out quickly. They need out super quickly, and off market, you know, deals are all around. So, so we have that situation where they've got payout penalties that are too much for them, and they need a quick out, because usually there's a reason why they're needing out right away, right? Secondly, what did you mention? Deferrals ending. So tell us a little bit about that you're seeing right now.
So if they signed a mortgage deferral and they have a lower income or no income, or they were relying on CERB, now CERB is ending, mortgage deferral is ending, so they have low or lower income, and now their expenses are all back. So that tends to make people hit the panic button a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So now you're in a prime market for this because unfortunately you're in a market that has already been hit. In the Alberta market, was already suffering because of oil, high unemployment rates, and then now COVID and all that kind of stuff. So you're in a prime market for it. But just if you're in a hot market, please remember this is for you too. You'll be surprised how many people would rather go off market than call and deal with showings and realtors and all that kind of stuff. So what else do you see? Those are probably things you're seeing a lot lately. And then there's things that we see in general in real estate from motivated vendors, like at any time, whether it's in a good market or a bad market. What are some of those situations?
Let's see. So in any kind of market, there's the divorces.
Mm-hmm.
There's the estate sales. What else is off the top of my head here? Right now, I'm actually seeing a lot of people who want a faster, easier solution for like selling during COVID, but safely. So how can I sell my house quickly with minimum number of people coming into my house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yep. Awesome. Okay, so divorces, estates, those who've, run out of CERB, who've either mortgage deferrals are ending, those who have major high payout penalties. So those are some of the situations, guys, that you want to be watching for, even in hot markets, selling safely, having somewhere, again, with people not going through their homes. I've actually heard of that a number of times too lately. This whole situation, as terrible as it is that we're in, at the same time, there's always opportunities. Just sometimes we have to be alert to it. So as we go through our days, our weeks, our months, and figuring out, what we're doing in real estate, keep your eyes and ears open to these situations. You heard that someone's getting a divorce. Do you know how many people in divorces are just like, we just want out. We just don't want to have to talk to each other again. We just want out really fast. I love that your kids are helping you. That's so awesome.
Well, he also left me with no battery.
Sorry. I'll get you right as soon as possible.
Good, Matt.
Come get me if you need me.
Okay, it's all good again.
Poor Deb.
Oh boy. The joys of being live, hey?
Right?
Yeah.
You're doing awesome.
So there's a few questions that are coming through, Deb, and we're going to get to those, guys. So so for example, one of the questions is, how do you watch for a divorcee seller? How do you find them? Where do you advertise? Those sorts of things. So we're going to touch into that.
And that's actually our next question.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I guess the point from this point so far is there's a lot of reasons why people might not just sell the regular way, that are looking for other options. They're looking for more creative strategies. They're looking for stuff that is not just the total norm. In particular, in the markets that you happen to be in, Deb, and in particular in the time frame of everything that's going on with the pandemic, it's starting to affect people as far as their payments they're losing that, and their expenses are coming back. So all of these things, it's kind of like a perfect storm when you add in everything that happens in regular life, and then everything that's happening with this pandemic, and then in Alberta, everything that's happening with the economic situation there. You kind of put all of those factors in together, and creativity is going to need to abound. People are going to need to learn these types of strategies and the kind of stuff that you're doing, because people out there need it. They totally need it. So let's get to that then. What are some of the top 3 ways, would you say, or the top ways, Deb, where people can find deals that are off market?
One of my favorite ways right now is word of mouth. Mm-hmm. So whether it's word of mouth with family, friends, other investors, because there's lots of tired landlords out there, and realtors. So a lot of realtors right now are seeing deals where they can't make any money. Basically, the seller owes exactly what it's worth. And so there is no money for realtor commissions.
Right.
So some of them are collecting all these pocket deals and they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. And from a realtor's perspective, it makes sense that they would still want to connect these people, because as a service-based business, as a realtor, they want to be a resource. They want people coming to them, and they want to be able to provide solutions, whether they can provide it or not. So it makes sense that they'd have someone like you in their pocket. So that's a great, tip that these things are coming from realtors. This is very cool. So you guys out there, if you let your realtor know, if you're known as an investor, if you're known as an active investor that's doing these kinds of things, let your realtor know. Just say, hey, if you find these deals, can you let me know? Can you throw them my way? I don't know about you, Deb. I know that sometimes we will have, worked a realtor into the deal, even though they didn't see a way that they could be involved in it, but there's, we creatively can find a way. So there's a lot of upside. So great spot. Get your realtor working for you in that way too. Awesome.
And they would love the extra income.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too that we're going to see is realtors being a little bit more creative. So like us as investors, we need to be more creative with everything going on, but realtors as well. They're not slamming out all the product and all of the inventory that they maybe used to do when markets were hot, and so they're going to be a little bit more creative, and so they're going to start digging into these avenues as well. So that's a plus for us as investors too.
So what else are you seeing, Deb? What else are you seeing?
So I do some bird dog things now too. So somebody who hears of a neighbor and says, here, try this person, maybe they can help you. Or another investor that has a family or a friend, but they don't want to break that personal professional boundary. So I'll pay them for that lead if it follows through.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So we've used this analogy quite a few times, but we'll go back to it here too, in that, so guys, if you have a plumbing problem, who do you call? Is your buddy who used to be a plumber, is a plumber, or at least knows about plumbing. And as investors, we can become that person that people call for real estate problems. So they may not know exactly what we do, but if they kind of know that we're in real estate, and they kind of know that we've, dabble in it or do stuff in there, and we've put it out on social media, we've planted those seeds in conversations, we've done all of what we talked about in boot camp, and we've done those things, then when they have someone who needs a solution, they'll be like, my friend Deb, I don't know what she does, but she's buying stuff, and you know what? Why don't I put you in touch with her? And that kind of stuff. I know we've gotten more leads that I can count. But Deb, you're right. I'll tell you what, there's a few lately that have contacted us that they're friends, and we don't want to cross those lines. And so exactly what you said,
we just did that exact same thing in the last month, where friends of ours were looking for something, and we didn't want to cross that relationship. We didn't want to turn friendship into business, and so we passed their name on to other business contacts, and so exactly what you're talking about, that happened to us. And if it's happening to us and it's happening to you, it can happen to anybody. And so it's a great strategy. Once you get your name out there, once people start to know what it is that you do, and like you said, word of mouth kind of travels, you can become that person that ends up just getting these leads coming to you, right?
So what would you pay for that kind of a lead, Deb? Like, is there an average number?
So typically I just pay $500 for a lead, but not for, I drove past and saw that the driveway hadn't been mowed, or shoveled.
Right.
Or if you live somewhere better, maybe you drove past a yard that the lawn hadn't been mowed.
Right. Yeah. So
but if they give me a lead, sorry,
go ahead.
If they give me a lead and it follows through, so basically all the conditions are released, then I pay a flat $500 fee. If it's a realtor, I'd usually double that. If they've done nothing other than pick up the phone and then pick up the phone and call me. If they already have it listed, then we have to negotiate a bit more because they've already put some work into it.
Yeah, for sure. And like Sean MP, he made a comment here too, and he says, well, they also, you know, in passing on a client, they might be able to get these people into their next home or whatever it might be. So there's other things in it. Now, again, we're not talking about people that are, you know, in a position to be able to do a traditional sale. Most of these people are in a tight position for one reason or another. It might be emotionally and personally, they just want out, or it could be, you know, otherwise, right? So financially. So okay, so what else do you do to find these people? So word of mouth, bird dogging. So you pay other people. Do you let them know that? Do you say, hey, if you bring me a lead, I'll pay you?
Yep.
Oh.
And I let every client that I've worked with know that I will do that as well. So if they had a good experience and they tell their friend, I'll give them $500.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Awesome. Okay. So bird dogging, referrals, realtors. What other ways are you finding these motivated vendors?
So one way that seems illogical and old-fashioned is targeted mail. Everybody's
Okay.
at home right now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, awesome. So what kind of mail? What do you send?
So I'm not sending like blanket to like 2,000 letters to such and such a postal code. I'm really targeting houses that I've seen, areas that I really want to get into. Maybe someone that's listed with Purple Bricks or 1% Realty or for sale by owner. So if they're having trouble, then they'll follow through with me.
Yeah. So there's another tip, Deb tip, that's amazing, because when you see these for sale by owners, Purple Bricks or whatever it might be, it's often an indication of one, money may be tight, and that's why they're not using a traditional realtor. For two, they probably are also having a harder time selling than if they had been using a traditional realtor. So those are some good places, and especially if you see that those houses then that have those signs also look not necessarily upkept, that's another often a good sign that someone is tired of that place, tired of the situation, tired of something.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. All right.
And just so everybody knows, you know, Purple Bricks, I we see a couple questions. What is Purple Bricks? It might not be across the country, I don't think, but it's a for sale by owner type of listing, right? So
like it used to be called Comfrey.
Yeah,
Comfrey
I think
got bought
so.
out
Something along those
by
lines.
Purple
Yeah,
Bricks,
yeah. So if you don't have that particular brokerage in your part of the country, something similar. Those types of brokerages exist all across the country. So
yeah. Oh, there you go. So Grant, of
Yeah.
course, Grant's got it. So Grant's all, and they're saying it's in Ontario as well. Yeah. Okay. So Deb, let's say that these letters that you send out directly to these people that, you know, are targeted. So you're not just doing one of those, you know, 2,000 letters like you said, but you sent specific letters to specific people or houses. How many of those are coming in with what you would say is, you know, a decent lead that get back to you?
So for every 100, I guess, that I put out, I probably get 10 back, but they're super qualified. Like they're motivated enough to pick up the phone, get out of their comfort zone, talk to this complete stranger, not really understanding what I'm offering.
That's awesome. So like 10% return that's pretty amazing. If you're sending out 100 letters, you're getting 10 back.
wow.
That's really amazing. So so they come to you, and they like we had a question earlier from Sean, and it's one of my questions that I didn't know how to deal with. And I know we've talked about this before, and you've got some great ways of doing it. So let's hit that now. You know, when you do talk to these people, let's say they're in a divorce, let's say it's rough, let's say that they are, you know, upside down on their house or behind on their mortgage payments. Like, this is embarrassing. This is emotional. This is sensitive stuff. So when you do hear back from them and they're in that scared, intimidated, embarrassed position, what are some of the ways that you go into these conversations in a dignified, respectful way, giving them their dignity? How do we start those conversations, Deb?
So typically I start by asking questions about the house. There is still emotion in the house, but there's less emotion than the divorce. So I start with something more neutral.
Love it.
And then I try to normalize. So it's 2020. Terrible things are happening to good people all over this country.
Yeah.
If I can help them, let's figure out a way to make it work. So I just make it very matter of fact. You're not the only one. It sucks. I totally get that. Let's see if we can figure it out.
Love it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So good. So you talk about the house because, like you said, it's less emotional. And I assume that when you're having these conversations and you're getting them talking about something less emotional, you're starting to be able to build a trust with them where they can see your professionalism and you're just ignoring the elephant in the room, which is how uncomfortable they are.
Yeah, if I need to, I'll deal with the elephant. But if I don't, then I just keep going as if I see this every day. It's a normal business transaction. Let's see what we can do to get you moving on with something better.
Yeah, I love it. And normalizing it for sure, letting them know that they're not the only ones and it's okay. It's fine. Like this is quite normal, especially in some markets. Yeah.
I gotta say, just in the way
good.
that you say that too, Deb, is I can tell you've said it more than once, but I can tell that you have compassion behind what you're doing as well, because you're not coming across as this, big fancy real estate investor that's going to come in and save the day. You're not coming across as this, for lack of a better word, this stuck up person that is higher than them. You're just coming across as a good human that's there to give them a hand and see if you can make a win-win situation, and just the calmness that you say that in. And so I think other people can learn from that too, is just have a conversation. And we talk about that all the time. You're just having a conversation with people to see if this can work. And it sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't, but let's just chat about it and see what we can do here. And I love the manner that you're coming across with too.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, that's so important because some people are so stressed, they somehow think I can come in and steal their house.
Yeah.
So I say exactly what you guys are talking about. It's just a conversation. Right now, you own your house. Nobody's taken it away from you today. Let's just explore the one or two options or whatever that I have to offer them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Love it.
So we had a couple questions. What do you put in your letter?
Oh, so I never, ever, ever say that I'm an investor.
That's a big point.
Yes. How do I know this? I made that mistake.
Right?
Interesting. Love it. Yes.
I just buy houses with my partners or whoever I want a third party at too.
Awesome.
So let's talk about the beauty of third partying too. So what does that do for you when you then talk to them because they know you have someone else to be answering to? What does that do for you?
So what they don't know is that I always go to a house with a contract somewhere in my bag. So I'm always ready to do business. But if something is fishy or I need to investigate more or something like that, then all their emotion, if I just say no, is directed straight at me. If I say I need to check with my partners before we move forward on this, everybody understands that. That's just business.
Yeah. Beautiful. So
love it.
It lets us go in and talk about these sensitive situations, create these relationships with people, but it gives us an exit in a way that we allow them their dignity.
It's an amazing strategy in all parts of real estate. I'm just thinking, with, like, for example, Tiffany, when she's
Property
dealing
management.
with her tenants, she does the same thing. And what it does is, when you third party and you put the responsibility on somebody else's shoulders instead of your own, you're now their friend trying to advocate on their behalf and convince that other third party that this is something that we can do together. And that is a great strategy to use in communication.
For sure, yeah.
So, all right. So, how much time goes by? So, I know that when I sent out letters, way back when, and I was actively looking for motivated vendors, we were sending out letters on a weekly basis. And I think we sat there for, I don't know, a good 6 or 7 weeks, and no one got back to us. And I just thought, wow, well, that was a complete waste of time, energy, and money. But it did come rolling in. So for you, I'm sure you've got your systems down pat more than I ever did. How long from when you start this process do you usually hear from them? Is it right away, next day they call you?
Not necessarily, no. So I send out a lot by online advertising, and I send out mail. So let's say for the mail, if I send out 20 letters, it might take a week or less to get the first couple of people calling. And then it might take up to a month for the rest of them. So people who maybe are checking on an estate property once every week or once every couple of weeks. So by the end of a month, I tend to figure, okay, most of those are done. But sometimes 6 months later, somebody will pick up the phone and say, hey, I got your flyer back in January. Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right? That's what we found, is that it was like it wasn't immediate necessarily, but it would come up, and you know what? They'd be like, oh yeah, I got your letter. And I'm like, what letter? Like, by that time, sometimes I hadn't sent letters for a long time, but they're like, we got your letter and we wanted to talk to you. So what I love about what you just gave us was, the hardest part for me when I was doing that was, I didn't know what to say to them once they did call me. I didn't know how to start that conversation. I was more uncomfortable with it because I know that they were in a tight position. I was more uncomfortable with it. So I love that you say go straight into the house. It's something, unemotional. Then normalize them and just let them know, look, this is normal and no problem. Let's just move on. Let's move you on to a better place, get you off, get this burden off your shoulders, and move on. So that's awesome. I love it.
I think somebody was asking what I put into the letters. So in the envelope, there's a letter and a flyer, because chances are really good they're going to throw that letter out, but they might keep the flyer.
Interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good call, for sure. So, so on your flyer, I know you said you use like a 5x7 kind of postcard. Yeah, 5x7. So it's not necessarily just a normal letter. It's not a postcard size. It's a little bit different, kind of cardboardy, probably grabs their attention a little bit that way. What does it say on there, that catches people's attention?
So I always address it to the homeowner, because if it's just a tenant, that's not going to help me. But the other thing I've started trying to do is put stickers on it. It's something that's going around in some of the marketing circles. So I figured I'd try it. I don't know if that's what's making more people open it, or if it's just more people are seriously in need of creative buying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I love it. Sorry.
I was just saying, could we go through some of the questions and the comments?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to share a couple of the comments first with you, Deb. Right here, Nicole said, good human right there. And actually, there's been a few people that said that. Stacy said that as well. And so a lot of people love the fact of what you're doing, and it's there to help people. And, it's not just about you, it's about helping others. So that's pretty
Sam
cool.
had a question. He says, what do you think that, the tips are that get you the 10% to respond?
Oh, good question. In my letter, I say this is who would be most help. I forget how I word it. This is who it could work for, something like that. And I specifically say, okay, if you have no equity, but I don't use that word. I specifically say things like, if you inherited a house, but there's no money in the estate to fix everything. If you, so basically I list, okay, here's who I'm talking to. So if people identify with one of my targets, then they're like, oh, that's my situation. Then they're more likely to take a second look.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay,
I love
cool.
it. Okay, so
so just another on that same thought. I'm not sure who it was, but another question about the estate properties. So how do you find out that an estate is being sold? Is that through the real estate mostly?
Yeah, so people who are selling an estate are tired. So they've already dealt with the grief. They might have already been dealing with elder care for months, maybe years. They're already burnt out from all of that. So they're looking for quick, easy, let's just solve this. What can you do to deal with like all the stuff? So some people want to go through every last thing. Some people are like, I'm not dealing with 30 years of stuff in Auntie Sue's house.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you're talking to those people in particular, I know we've talked about this before, so I know the answer, but I'm just going to ask you anyway. So you often, how do you make their problems go away? People in estates that are specific to those kinds of stresses. What do you say to them?
So first of all, I've learned to get probate out into the front really early. So how many people are involved in the state, and do you have probate? So basically, if I'm dealing with 6 kids, chances of them all agreeing on any price are close to 0. If I'm only dealing with 1 and they have probate, then it's golden. And then you got everything in between those extremes.
Love it. So, and explain what is probate. Sorry, before we get to that one.
Probate just means that whoever's in charge of the estate has officially been approved. The will has been approved, and it's basically stamped by the courts. So they now have the right to sell that house.
Yeah. So these aren't people that are just kind of inquiring and and curious. These, they might be when they first call you, but you're letting them know that it has to get to a certain point before you'd be able to be involved, and that helps for you to filter out and manage your time.
Yeah, in a hotter market, you could put in an option to purchase, and then the option, or even a condition, pending lawyer's approval of probate. But in my market, I'm not wasting time on people who are just kicking tires.
Yeah, awesome.
Makes sense.
Great questions that are coming in. So Lingy, and how frequently do you send your emails to the same properties?
Mail, not email.
Sorry, your mail. Sorry, your mail.
So do you send multiple times to the same property?
So if they ever call me back or email me back, then I'll follow up. Initially, the follow-up is 2 weeks, and then a month, and then every month or so. If they never respond, unless I'm gaga over that property, I just leave it alone.
Okay.
If it goes off the market and comes back on the market, then I list it, or then I send them another letter.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you're not going to chase them. You're not going to spend a lot of your time and energy chasing people that are not motivated. You want those that are motivated enough to come to you because you know that they're going to actually do something.
Well, and I also know that I only have so much time. So if I'm dealing with the people who are truly motivated, that's just a way better use of my time.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Solimar had a question and someone else had the same question.
Yeah. So that,
there we go.
Yeah. So again, just that clarification, why do you not say that you're an investor in your letters or in your communication?
That one's a veteran secret trick, because we've learned that when you say that word, sometimes there's a connotation, right? So tell us about that.
So it's specifically because I don't know what meaning they attach to that word. So do they think Donald Trump style investor? Do they think super rich, money flowing out of my pockets kind of investor?
Yeah.
It's just got so many, you're rich, you're trying to take advantage of me, all that kind of stuff attached to it, that then I have to spend my time backpedaling.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
Awesome. Okay. What else do we got? AFS. Someone got a question of AFS right away. Does it work for estate sales? Don't they always want to be cashed out?
So one of the hardest things I have to learn and relearn and practice is not to make assumptions. So everybody sells for different reasons, for different prices, and you don't know until you start talking to them. But more importantly, until you start listening to them. So yes, the estate can hold it. Check it all with your lawyers in your province, all that kind of thing. I wouldn't let it go for too long, but is it possible to hold it in the estates while I do renovations for a flip? A lot of estates would hold it for a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
cool.
it. And you taught me that, Deb, when we first started having this conversation, when I first interviewed about this, when I said, I feel guilty talking to people in COVID. I feel really guilty because I feel like I know that I'm providing them a solution, but at the same time, I just feel really bad that they're in that solution or situation. And you said to me, I didn't cause that. Okay, yeah, say it again. You'll say it best.
So I even have to tell people this now. I didn't cause COVID. I can't fix COVID, but maybe we can fix the house problem.
I love it. And that goes for, an estate, a divorce, an upside down house, a bad market, loss of employment, all of those things. You focus on the solution instead of focusing on the problem. And to me, that's super, super powerful. Let's see, what questions do we got for you?
Right here.
How often do the 10% that come back to you? That was what, actually, Shelley, that's one of my questions for Deb as well. So the 10% that comes back to you, how many of those turn into a deal?
Maybe only one or two.
Yeah.
So a lot of people over the summer especially were still saying, okay, I've got my mortgage deferral, I've got my CERB, I'm okay. Houses are still selling because I saw it on the news. So they're still looking for, I want to have my cake and eat it too, and get maximum price, all of that kind of stuff. So really, it's only in the last couple of months that people have started to become more motivated. So I expect that my 1 to 2 out of 10 might start to bump up to 3 or 4.
So really, that's 1% or 2% of leads. So Deb, is that a lot of effort? Like, you're putting out a lot of effort sending all these letters. That's, you've got your bird dogging relationships that you've got going on, your realty referrals, you've got your word of mouth from your friends and your family. Is that a lot of effort for 1 or 2%?
Well, if I'm making 50 grand, am I willing to put 10 hours into it? So it basically comes down to, am I willing to work for those deals? There's lots of them out there, but they don't just fall in your lap. And so, of course, I do lots of online advertising as well. I don't think we've gotten into my third favorite strategy there, which is online. But of the stuff that I've mentioned already, I'm not afraid to do the hard work if it gets me a good deal.
Awesome.
That was actually leading in then. Why don't we talk about that online, Deb? Because Julie had the question, do you ever use social media instead of snail mail?
Yes, all the time.
Okay.
So it doesn't always get the estate sales. But if it's a boomer or Gen X, and definitely a millennial that's processing the state, then for sure social media will start to grab some of those leads.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you use other forms of online advertising? And I'm sorry, we can't see who asked that. You have to give StreamYard your permission. That's so silly. But you have to give StreamYard permission. And anyways, yeah. What type of online advertising do you use?
Yep. So I have a website. I have a social media page. I put ads out on like Kijiji. If you're in BC, it might be Craigslist. If you're in Kelowna, it might be Castanet. I don't know what they use in Ontario or on the East Coast, but you might have specific sites that you want to use. And I'm playing around with a funnel. It's in the early stages, so I really can't say what does work, what doesn't work. But I'm hoping that as I continue to tweak it, it will continue to bring in better and better leads.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool is you're getting these leads come to you. You've been doing this for a while. You're having people respond, but you're still experimenting with other ways of getting this message out there, and you're still experimenting with different ways of doing this. So you haven't, quit doing that and experimenting and trying different ways and setting out a funnel and all of that kind of stuff. So I think that's really cool. So awesome.
Yeah, I think as soon as you think you know it all, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, things change. Yeah,
I love it. So Elaine and Harry, Jazz has just put a link in the comments. It says here to accept StreamYard.
Yeah, that's a different. Yeah. I think that's the wrong link, Jazz.
Oh, it is the wrong link.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for Out of the Box. So yeah, Out of the Box is we're going to tell you guys about Out of the Box too. It's a program that we did with Barry and Donna McGuire, and it talks about these agreement for sale kind of strategies, and Deb's been working with them as well, so that you can actually know how to do these really cool strategies with these motivated sellers. So it's so funny. They keep on.
I know Jazz and Nan are putting in the Out of the Box link. So so why don't we just quickly chat about that, since we have 5 links here of Out of the Box. If people are wanting to learn more about creative strategies and want to have an online community that works pretty much solely on creative strategies, and then all the online content to be going through and understanding this to the fullest, and having all of the documentation to be able to do all of this stuff, that's what the Out of the Box is for. So then you can click on that link and have access to all that stuff. Okay, so where are we with all the questions though?
I think I was just going through these questions, and I think
we got them all down to that point.
Yeah, we're caught up here. So if you guys have any
AFS
questions,
stands for Agreement for Sale. That was one of the questions. Okay. And there was another.
And that's one of the creative strategies that, again, if you're just starting out in investing, that's a little bit more of a, more not complicated. It's not complicated. What's the word? Advanced strategy. But here's the deal. Let's say you get one of these motivated vendors. This is what I did. So I got all these motivated vendors. They started calling me. I was doing letters. I was doing all kinds of stuff. And they started calling me, but I wasn't quite in the position to be able to help them yet. And I didn't want the pressure. Like, to me, the pressure, especially the one, she was a single mom of 5 kids, living in her house. She was behind in foreclosure. She was like 7 months behind, and she only had like 9 months total to do this. And I just was like, oh no, I'm out of here. Like, I cannot handle the pressure. So I sent that over to another investor. And when you do that, you can get an assignment fee for doing that. So he took care of it. He went and bought the house. I think he still owns it. Last time I talked to him, he did. And took care of things in the way that he knew how. So I still created those leads, but I started to actually create a little bit of an income off of it as well for those deals that were too complicated for my simple experience at the time.
Yeah. Awesome. So I just wanted to comment too on this comment here Victoria made. The goal isn't for us to become rich, but to help people get out of holes. So absolutely, we're there to help people get out of holes. We're there to help people through the situations they're dealing with. And while doing that, that will help to create an income for us. That will help us to create wealth. That will help us to do what we're in real estate in the first place to do. But it's a really good point that if we focus first on becoming rich, then it's going to be a lot harder than if we focus first on helping others. And if we focus on helping others, then everything we want will come along with that. And that's kind of the philosophy that Tiff and I have used for years, and it's worked out well for us. So,
for sure. Okay, so a question came up. Can you ask for an assignment fee in that case? Yes, absolutely. You can ask for an assignment fee. Deb, do you do assignments as well? I know you've had some good deals that you've done all the work. You've found the lead. You've negotiated. You've dealt with the people. You've created that relationship. You've gained their trust. You've found a win-win solution. And if it doesn't fit in your portfolio or for whatever other reason, what do you do with those deals?
So I totally wholesale deals. So if I have everything all tied up in a pretty little bow, I have all the documentation, I have the contract signed, then I assign it. Otherwise, if I'm just passing on a lead, then I would call it just bird dogging it, because I haven't really done anything to get the deal closed. All I have is someone who's motivated. I'm just passing on a lead, not a deal.
Yeah.
And here's the difference, because I see there's a couple questions about it, is in an assignment, you are negotiating that deal like Deb is talking about here. You actually have that deal on paper, and then you sell that deal to somebody else. So that's different than what a realtor does, and a realtor gets paid a commission for assisting somebody, a seller or a buyer, but you're not doing that. What you're doing in this case is you have that property under contract, and then you sell that contract to somebody else. And so it is different than what a realtor does, and that's why you don't need to be licensed to do that. So good. Okay.
So I was just going to take more questions, but you know what?
Yeah, we're running out of time. Unbelievable how quickly an hour went by.
Yeah, absolutely. That is unreal. I can't even believe it. So, so Deb, maybe we'll have to bug you again. This is what I'm saying, guys, at the beginning of this. Deb this is not her favorite thing to do, to be on camera and to be doing this, but she does it only for you guys. Like, she really does, only for you guys. So, you know, anyways, you're awesome. Thank you, Deb. So if you guys want to get in on some of those deals with Deb, if you are looking to joint venture with people, Deb's always got these great deals coming down the pipeline because she's got this systemized approach to it. So she's always got some coming up. Wholesaling, if you want any of that stuff, look for Deb, Mountain Edge Properties. She's got a website. What's your website, Deb?
So for my investors, it's mountainsedgedevelopments.com.
mountainsedgedevelopments.com. All
Perfect.
Right.
It's Mountains Edge.
Yes, with an S.
Oh,
Yeah.
we did it wrong. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, get in touch with her, you guys. She is such a natural. See?
Yeah, everyone's coming in saying, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Totally great to hear your input. Thank you, Deb. Great info, Deb. You're such a natural, Deb. So, yeah, people do appreciate the information. We thank you for being so open and honest about it, and sharing some of your strategies, and doing such an awesome job of being out there helping others, and having the right approach to real estate. We are happy to have you as one of our Ignited members. So yeah,
it's been an awesome, fantastic experience.
Awesome. Yeah, us too.
Okay, well, we're going to jump over into Laser, so we'll see you there. We have the mortgage brokers coming on tonight in Laser. So thanks again, Deb. Thank you guys all for joining us, and we will bug Deb again to
maybe
join
Deb
us
in December
time.
Could be the name of a title. Or something.
Deb in December. Woo!
We'll see.
Poor girl. She's like,
yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
well, thank you again. We appreciate it, and everybody else does too.
Yeah.
So thanks
we'll
for joining us, everyone,
week.
on our Tactical Tuesday, and we will see you next week, same time, same place.
Cheers from Victoria.
Okay. See you guys. Right there. Yeah.